Sometimes the things you can do with GMOD nowadays surprise even me. I spent a lot of time on this channel talking about insanely complicated add-ons that transform Garry's Mod into anything from Ready or Not to a very terrible version of Metal Gear Solid 5. With how advanced the GMOD workshop has gotten in the past few years, it's become harder and harder to come by simple, classic add-ons like the ones from GMOD's early days. I love that I can walk around Super Mario Galaxy with Call of Duty Modern Warfare weapons while playing as Chester Stone, but sometimes it's honestly just a bit much. Sometimes I wish I could just go back to the good old days of Dr. Kleiner sitting inside of a flying bathtub. In times like these, I'm reminded of the words of the late Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. The most important thing in the world is never forgetting where you came from. The second most important thing is balling out white guy style. So in an effort to pay tribute to GMOD's beautiful origins and also ball out white guy style, today I'm going to be doing something I should have done 8 months ago when I was looking at old GMOD maps. Visiting a handful of ancient websites, downloading gigabytes of scary zip files, and going back nearly 20 whole years to take a look at some of the oldest GMOD add-ons to ever exist. We're also going to be taking a look at some 20-year-old reviews of the add-ons that we play along the way. Just for fun. Hope you enjoy. Step 1 was switching to an old-ass version of Garry's Mod. Garry's Mod 9, as that is the last version that most of these mods are compatible with. I thought long and hard about which modding website I should use for the first section of this video, and by that I mean I thought about it for about 5 seconds before deciding on good old GameBanana. The oldest Garry's Mod add-on uploaded to GameBanana is actually what I believe to be the very first Gmod add-on to ever exist. Garry's Mod on Wheels, uploaded around March 20th, 2005, less than 3 months after Gmod's first release. This is a pretty simple mod that I actually talked about in a past video that just adds weirdly detailed vehicles into Garry's Mod. Installing it was pretty straightforward, and it came with these neat little screenshots from 2005 showing off everything that's included with the mod. It doesn't even come with a spawn menu, so you have to play on maps that actually have support for the mod built into them, which, if you can believe this, are pretty hard to find considering it came out 20 years ago. One of the maps that's still floating around for it, though, is this big-ass one called SO City. It has a bunch of the mod's vehicles sitting all around the map, and you can hop in and drive them around to your heart's content, including this BMW M3, which I have seen in so many different Half-Life 2 mods that it's almost a little weird to see it in its original context. Honestly, as impressive as the mod is for the era with its 20+ unique cars to drive, I found the map itself infinitely more interesting. It's objectively a pretty terrible map with tons of geometry that makes absolutely no sense, but it's just really weird to see a big city map in Garry's Mod that was released over 4 years before the actual big city that all of us know and love. In another world, this is the map you associate Garry's Mod with and see a bunch of skibbity toilet guys and camera head people running around in. Not to sound self-centered, but I think if I were a map, I would probably prefer to end up in a Ratlobber video than the skibbity dop videos. To be honest. Aside from just cars, Garry's Mod on Wheels also comes with what is probably the worst video game skateboard in the history of mankind. It's in first person, which sucks, it's impossible to control, and it makes very loud car engine noises. It also has a tendency to just freak the hell out with no warning, so you probably won't even end up getting to use it anyways. In the words of GameBanana user Godsmack on April 30th, 2006, this mod is truly insane. One thing I never noticed about this mod is that it for some reason includes this TV prop that you can spawn that just plays a looping GIF of a truck with 2 wheels running down a road. If I'm not mistaken, that is a direct reference to the cult classic YouTube video, Retarded Horse Running. All in all though, Garry's Mod on Wheels is very impressive for being the first ever Gmod add-on, and I for one am glad the first Gmod add-on didn't end up being something terrible, like Shit Add-on, which is that's a mod from 19 years ago that adds a bunch of poop in a toilet. That's the mod. A lot of early Gmod add-ons were very simple ones that just added new models into the game without much in the way of functionality. Most of them were just girls that people found hot and wanted to play with as ragdolls in Garry's Mod. I did not download those ones, I promise. I did, however, download a whole bunch of the non-Coomer mods just to get the true 2005 experience. This one is called The Mask, and it adds The Mask from Jim Carrey's 1994 smash hit, The Mask. This is actually the first character mod ever made for Garry's Mod, and I'm frankly almost a little upset that the first human anyone ever put into this game is Jim Carrey's The Mask. Not Gordon Freeman, not a Black Mesa scientist, Jim Carrey. The Mask. As Trey Panic put it on December 20th, 2005, that's so creepy. The movie sucked too, by the way. I ended up finding the first ever Mario model ever made for Garry's Mod, and it is one of the most horrifying renditions of Super Mario that I've ever seen. This man alone is responsible for an entire Japanese legal team having multiple meetings to discuss legal action against a 20-year-old Half-Life 2 mod. Thank you for your service, Super Mario. Next was another small mod just called iPhone. All this does is add a very terrible looking iPhone model into the game. It might not really seem that interesting, but this was made before the iPhone ever even came out. It was uploaded on April 12th, 2007, and the iPhone had just been announced on January 9th, 2007. We didn't even know what the back of an iPhone looked like at this point, which is why the back of this model is so weird and so not what an iPhone is supposed to look like. Maybe it's just me, but it is super weird to see someone innocently make a model for a newly announced phone in 2007, completely unaware of just how radically it was going to change the world.
This isn't a joke. There's naked pictures of me all over the internet. Like what you see? I hope you do, because there's plenty more where that came from.
This is also probably the first smartphone model to appear in any video game ever, so that alone is pretty cool. Also, Sexy Panda from 2007 in the comments of this add-on says, Apple sucks. Me when I'm orange. Me when I'm the annoying orange. Do you guys get that or not? Do you guys leave a comment if you get that joke? One of the funniest genres of mods I found while digging through all this old stuff were the so-called personal skins. This is as basic as early Gmod add-ons get, and all they really do is replace clothing on certain ragdolls with clothing that a 15-year-old in 2006 would find very cool. It's even funnier because every human male in Gmod is like 35 years old, so it ends up just looking like some grown man wearing a teenager's clothes. Here's one by Buddy404 that shows Malo2 wearing a shirt with, quote, Resident Evil 4 Monster Dog thing, as well as donning a, quote, queer smile. This one by Marco900 replaces the Combine Soldier texture with a guy wearing an Aqua Teen Hunger Force shirt with Kenny from South Park on one sleeve and the Monster Energy logo on the other. It also has a big logo for the band Dead Kennedys on the back of it, just in case he thought Marco couldn't fit any more pop culture references on his skin. These are honestly some of the funniest remnants of 2006 that I have ever seen, and there's too many to put in this video, so I recommend you just go to GameBanana and look at them for yourself because they're just really good. All of them are just awesome. Next up is what is probably the rarest kind of old Gmod add-on. Custom weapons. Making a custom weapon for Gmod back in the day required a bit more work than simply adding a model into the game, so it's actually pretty hard to come by a lot of them. Most of the ones that do exist, though, are pretty terrible. As far as I can tell, the first proper custom weapon ever made for Garry's Mod was the Wii Controller mod, uploaded on August 23rd, 2006. It's more of a tool than it is a weapon, and kinda just acts as a replacement for the default physics gun, which in early versions of Garry's Mod was pretty bad. It's kind of as simple as it gets though, and I think it's somehow worse than the Garry's Mod 9 physics gun. You can left click to pick things up and drag them around the map, or through the map if you want to, and right click to blast them away, like Harry Potter. I ran to the comments to find an interesting and thoughtful 2006 discussion about the mod, but mostly just found people arguing about video game consoles. Sarkune, one of the most influential thinkers of the mid-2000s, says, "Has we been released? But we suck. PS3 pwns."
Come on now. We? Come on. That little controller, baby, that looks like a dildo.
Next up was the Halo Sweps mod from 2008 that added 2 direct ports of the Halo 1 assault rifle and pistol into Garry's Mod. It had the Master Chief hands and everything along with all the animations, which probably would have been kinda crazy to see so early in the Gmod's existence. This mod was not only the start of Halo and Gmod's strange one-sided relationship, it was also the start of people shamelessly porting weapons from other games into Garry's Mod, a beautiful time-honored tradition that still continues to this very day. You'd expect the comments to be stoked that you can now kinda play Halo in Gary's mod, but most of them were just upset that the author ported over Microsoft's assets without asking, and were making a very big deal about how illegal it was for him to do so. Another time-honored tradition that still continues to this very day. Finally, I decided to end off on a high note and take a look at Teta Bonita's Nuclear Apocalypse Variety Pack, the first ever nuclear bomb add-on for Gary's mod. This adds a grand total of 3 new weapons into the game that spawn nuclear explosions in a variety of different ways. It's actually pretty advanced for how old it is, and even allows you to control a nuclear warhead like it's a Call of Duty Predator missile, which just rocks. I mean, that's just awesome. Unfortunately, pretty much every time a nuke explodes, it freezes the game for about an entire minute, and you'll have to sit through that every single time a bomb goes off. I find it pretty funny that nukes are still one of the most popular add-ons people download when they first get into Gary's mod, and that basically almost every mod I looked at so far has a modern equivalent that is still really popular among Gmod players. In the words of Jean-Baptiste Alphonse Carr, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And in the words of Soviet 1942, to tell you the truth, I really don't understand what this is. And in the words of Hot Mayo, you must be retarded then. It's a nuke. It would be wrong for me to only look at grandpa ancient prehistoric Gmod add-ons in this video. After all, the median age of a Gary's mod player is around 7 years old, and they're probably all dying of boredom after being subjected to 10 minutes of looking at the GameBanana website. The very first add-on ever uploaded to the Gary's Mod Workshop was actually uploaded by Gary Mod himself on October 22nd, 2012, and it's just a small map pack that includes every single version of GM Construct ever created, all the way back to the oldest one from December 2004. The second add-on ever uploaded to the Gary's Mod Workshop is a dupe called Sofa Car, and it's a drivable sofa car. And this one was also made by Gary. The first non-Gary add-ons that were ever uploaded to the workshop are this map called GM Construct Flatgrass V6-2 and a drivable Halo Rocket Warthog. Remember that thing I said earlier about Gmod and Halo having a one-sided relationship? There you go. Told you. Both these add-ons hold up surprisingly well, and I think if someone saw you playing this, they wouldn't even suspect that you're playing with add-ons that are well over 12 years old at this point.
And they'd also say, yo, check out this gay guy playing Halo in Gary's mod. Check out this gay guy playing Gary's mod playing Halo. They would also probably say, or maybe that's just me, I don't know, maybe they just say that to me.
The first 2 weapon add-ons uploaded to the workshop in 2012 both just add Counter-Strike source weapons to the game, so, I mean, there's not really that much to talk about there. If you're curious what the first ever save uploaded to the Gary's Mod Workshop is, it's called Save Test by Gary, and it takes place on GM Flatgrass. It's a big group of weird snowman creatures with a Dr. Quart body and paper towel legs. There's also 2 explosive barrels placed next to them, which I assume you're meant to launch at the snowman epic style. Right after that, Gary uploaded a save called No Neck that takes place on GM Construct, and here's what that looks like. The first save made by someone who is not Gary is just called First Save by ESF Truth. All it does is spawn the player inside of a very rudimentary jail cell that probably took like 5 seconds to put together. This is the Gary's Mod equivalent of commenting first on a YouTube video. And frankly, not to be rude, but I think I liked Gary's snowman thing way better. That one's good. One thing I've never seen anyone talk about before is the demo feature on the Gary's Mod Workshop. This is a feature where you can record yourself doing whatever it is you like to do in Gary's Mod, upload it to the Steam Workshop as a recording, and have other people download it so they can watch you play with yourself. For very good reason, 99% of people who play Gary's Mod have never even recorded a demo, but I find it really interesting that the first one ever made was uploaded by Gary himself and is simply titled Mirror Sofa Car, uploaded October 24th, 2012, the day Gary's Mod 13 released. Even more interesting is that it doesn't even work on modern versions of Gary's Mod and seems to have stopped working sometime around May 2013, meaning there was only like a 5-month window where this demo was ever even viewable. Which means, technically, Mirror Sofa Car is, technically, lost media. But as a certified lost media hater, I wasn't quite ready to let the first GMOD demo ever recorded get lost to time, so I enlisted the help of my smart friend Fagardo, who enlisted the help of another smart guy named BT, who eventually tracked down the oldest version of Garry's Mod 13. The only version of GMOD that could possibly play back this demo. And after an anxious day or two of waiting, we finally became the first people in over 12 years to see the legendary Mirror Sofa Car, the first GMOD demo ever uploaded to the Steam Workshop. And it's just a 30-second video of Gary Newman driving around a sofa in front of a mirror and then crashing it, and then he crashes it. And that's the entire video. Took me 2 days to get, and that's the entire video. Anyways, here's the oldest NPC ever uploaded to the workshop. Look, it's Gordon Freeman from Half-Life. Hey! You know that game. We all love that game, Half-Life. I hope you enjoyed this shorter than usual Ratlobber video experience. I thought about making this video longer to look at some of the oldest add-ons more in depth, but frankly most of them were just random props that a child smashed together one day in 2006 and like Brian Griffin ragdolls and stuff. Still, making this video is a very comforting reminder that we haven't even begun to scratch the surface when it comes to Garry's Mod history, and that beautiful lost artifacts like Paperclip and Mirror Sofa Car could just be sitting around on some server somewhere, waiting for someone to discover it. Wow. Truly the best video game of all time. Also, while I was making this, I noticed that it ended up being pretty similar to a video made by Risco, where he plays around with some of the add-ons you just saw in this video. That obviously was not intentional, but if you'd like to see a version of this video without me yapping in the background, you should go check that out. It's pretty good. Shout out to Risco. Anyways, thanks for watching. I've been General Qasem Soleimani, disguised as a Garry's Mod YouTuber named Ratlobber. Peace.